The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series from Bristol, presented by Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic, our ultimate clean, your ultimate feeling. And in part by the Home Depot, NASCAR's home improvement warehouse. A full house tonight here in Thunder Valley, watching Kyle Busch just hang on to the lead all night long. He took the lead at lap 55. We're at lap 432 now. He hasn't given it up yet. David Reagan started in the back in a backup car, moved himself up to the 10th spot tonight. Great job for Reagan, and some of the point guys have had good nights. Some of the point guys have had bad nights. Some have had bad nights they've made into good nights, like Clint Boyer, who got into a wreck earlier and come back and is running in the top 10. 8th spot right now. Casey Kane in a wreck, done for the night, and Casey's going to finish 40th tonight. So, Rusty Brad, what is the record for the most laps led by a single driver in a 500-lap Cup race here at Bristol?
Man, I don't have a clue.
Bristol,
I
give me a guess. Come on.
I will say 350
Nah,
laps.
you're not even close. Kyle Busch has led 379 tonight. Cale Yarborough led all 500 laps here.
Wow.
Cale
Right.
Yarborough Invitational.
Back in 1973. Doc,
Were you in that race, Rusty?
He was a man. I was not in that race. I wish I was, though. What a heck of a guy.
Doc, did you know that? You probably did. You study all those things.
Oh boy, I remember when I was a wee baby watching that one. Yeah, you believe that, don't you? 1978. In fact, this is the fewest leaders they have had since the record back in 1978. They had 3 leaders back then. Cale Yarborough did it, by the way, in March of 1973. Imagine leading all 500 laps here at Bristol.
That's pretty incredible. That's amazing. It's even more amazing to watch Kyle Busch with the competition this day and time. Dave?
Guys, remember what happened to Kyle in the spring race here? He blew the power steering on that car on lap 295, had to drive the last 205 laps without it. But there was a silver lining around that cloud of white smoke. Steve Addington told me that although changing manufacturers on the steering box was a big part of it, they learned things while Kyle raced that car without power steering that they would not have learned with power steering. Hard to believe that the 18 could get that much better over the course of time here, because he's still whooping them all, but that was a big deal in the spring. They learned a lot without power steering.
That's the way I've learned most of the things I've learned by mistake. Doing something wrong and then you learn something from it. But here's a good battle.
9th position, 6 and 8. Almirola with the fresh tires. David Reagan trying to race his way into the chase. He is currently in 13th in the points, just 8 points back of the 0-7. So every position is critical for the 6 car.
Yeah, Eric Almirola has run up to 7th spot, but he started to fall back a little bit now, and David Reagan has made his way up, trying to take another spot and get himself a couple of points closer to that chase. Really good job by both of these young men, though.
That 8 car made a big charge. Just stalled out on him.
Once again, you can see just how difficult. You can run somebody down, you can get to the inside of them, but it's just hard to complete that pass. Not as much grip there as they'd like.
You Reed Sorensen fans, by the way, Reed is back on the racetrack in the 41 car after being involved in a huge incident on lap 216.
Check this out. Montoya is still giving these leaders a hard time.
I think Kyle Busch is the only one that hadn't had a terribly hard time with him all night, and that's because he's equally as good off the corner as Montoya has been. But he is having some problems right now.
I think every time Kyle Busch walks in the store and sees Juicy Fruit, he's going to break into a cold sweat. He's had his troubles tonight with the 42. But he does get by. 57 laps to go, and we're going to see what Kyle Busch can do. Is he the guy that can lead the most laps and win here at Bristol? Finally.